much fun as Lyran light and medium formations are to analyze, the heart and soul of every Lyran formation is the wall of steel. And it's composed of primarily assault with some heavy mechs thrown in to provide just enough speed and firepower to counter the opposition's possible flanking units. In the center of your line, you're going to want your company commander. He's going to be anchoring the wall of steel and needs to be centrally located, so any orders he issues, he can observe personally and make corrections as needed. With Lyrans and the facilities at Hesperus too, this can only mean one thing. He's going to be driving an Atlas. Its firepower and its protection abilities are second to none, and its fluffed capabilities for communications and coordination are equally impressive. So your company commander is going to be designed by the mech. Your company commander is going to be driving the mech designed by Alexander Kerensky himself. Standing right next to your company commander is going to be the 1st Lance's commander, his XO, a lieutenant. And while it would be nice to put him in an Atlas as well, the Steiners have a wonderful resource at their disposal. It's a mech that has a little bit better ranged firepower, making it the perfect, ideal, high-energy battery to anchor any assault lance. You don't want to use too many of them because its fluff is being kind of rare, but the Steiner version of the Banshee, with its AC-10 and twin PPCs and its host of short-range weaponry, is the perfect complement to the Atlas. In addition, it adds that particular Steiner flair that any wall of steel would behoove themselves to invest in. Now, both the Atlas and your Banshee are going to need bodyguards. And they're going to need to be sizable mechs themselves because we are building a wall of steel here. And once again, we need to consider the realization that they're moving a little bit farther out, but need to also perform that vital bodyguard role. So we need something with a good mix of long and short-range weapons. And once again, House Steiner has the answer. In it, we have the Steiner version of the original Battlemaster. Its LRM-20 perfectly complements both the ranged weapons on the Banshee and the LRM-20 on the Atlas. And its medium lasers perform the close-in role. In addition, with a 4.6 speed, that allows it to have a faster reaction time just in case some of those enemy mechs are getting ready to attack your company commander and his XO. Moving to the number 3 position on each side, we need another mech. It's going to have a similar movement profile to the Battlemaster, yet its focus needs to be more on longer range firepower because it's going to need a direct firepower against both the flanking units that might possibly be coming from the outside, and it also needs direct firepower toward the center of the line as well. Luckily, once again, the master mech rights at Hesperus 2 have come up with a perfect solution in the Zeus class battle mech. All of its weapons are geared to more of a long-range fighting style with an LRM, an AC-5, and a large laser. And if you're really fortunate enough, you might also draw the one that replaces that AC-5 with a PPC, effectively doubling that particular weapon's firepower and reducing its dependence on ammunition. Now at each end of your line, you're going to want to save a little bit of money here and invest in good, solid, dependable heavy mechs. Now on your company commander side, you're going to need something with great long-range direct fire weaponry, because it's sitting opposite of that kind of firepower on the Banshee. Here's where House Steiner needs to place all of its Warhammers. The Warhammer will provide enough firepower to direct toward the inside, that PPC fire toward the inside, yet short-range weaponry is almost ideal for countering the fast flanking units that are certainly going to be thrown at it by the other nations. On the other side, though, since you're a lot closer to the direct firepower of your Banshee and your Zeus, what you're going to want on that side, however, is something with good short-range firepower and a heavy load of armor to help protect you, because right there is where your flanking units are going to try to take their best shot. Here's where House Steiner places its Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolt's built more along a short-range firepower paradigm, and it's got a much heavier load of armor, 13 tons, near max for a 65-ton mech. The Warhammer on your company commander side and your Thunderbolt on the XO side make the perfect combination to help stop flanking units from getting behind your Lyran wall of steel. Finally, you're going to need some fire support, some long-range weapons that will just kind of rain death down on the enemy. It's going to go behind the actual line of steel. It's going to be a fire support lance. And the core of any fire support lance in 3039 has to remain the Archer. In the level 1 era, only LRMs have the capability to really reach out and touch someone with a lot of firepower. And 2 LRM-20s is absolutely still nothing to sneeze at, even down to the modern age. But you're going to need some protection for those pair of archers you have in the backfield. And the perfect complement to do that is to have a grasshopper, which will provide the high intensity, high close range firepower you may need if the flanking units manage to get by your front line, and the Crusader, which has the LRM's ability to reach out and touch someone still for a little while, and an intense short range battery of SRMs that will allow it to adequately protect your archers if the flanking units do manage to get by. So to recap, your Lyran Wall of Steel will be commanded by a gentleman in an Atlas, and of course he's going to be a gentleman because he's a Steiner. And then he's going to be, his lance extending down one side of the line will consist of a Battlemaster Steiner variant, a Zeus, and a Warhammer. The other side of the line is going to feature a Banshee, the Battlemaster, and Zeus again, but will be anchored rather by a Thunderbolt. Your backstopping line for fire support will consist of 2 archers and a Grasshopper and a Crusader for protection. Now, flanking units are not that much of a concern. And this is a big if, because you'll be finding primarily American and Korea who love flanking units. But if they also bring some heavy units, the Steiners could replace the Grasshopper and the Crusader in the back line with a pair of longbows for extra long-range firepower. That's basically the basics of the Lyran Wall of Steel. And the technique you use for them is basically a steady advance, maybe with the flanks bending in to funnel everything down to those pair of 3-5 assault mechs with the massive firepower in the center. My name's Doug Glendower, and this has been MechTalk.